Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the Sports Talk Network, and specifically here, welcome to the Ramble. Steve Justin Ramble here, and of course, as you can tell, we're on a different night. Usually, we are on Saturdays. Excuse me, but we're back to the old format, at least for this week. On Thursday, to talk about the Royal Rumble, the 2020 edition, and looking forward to seeing how this year's Rumble plays out. It's supposed to there's always supposed to be big moments, debuts, returns, surprises, and all that other stuff with the Rumble itself. Last year we had Nia Jax in the men's Rumble getting RKO'd, so great moments from last year's. See how this year is, and again the Royal Rumble in a baseball stadium. So looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. But before we continue on rambling and talking about this edition's Royal Rumble, let's welcome our guest, a guest of honor. Let's welcome Rip from Weekly Wrestling podcast, where I was this past week. I've already checked that out. I did retweet and otherwise. Welcome to find him on Twitter and find that out. Check out his other stuff as well in regards to MMA, wrestling, and any else other things he does cover. Very knowledgeable, smart son of a gun, and he knows what he's talking about. And he's also highly opinionated, which is never a bad thing in regards to he'll say what he wants to say, and doesn't care what you think. If he has an opinion, he'll share it respectfully, of course, but he'll share it. But let's welcome him to the show, Sean. How are you doing?
Yo, Steve, man, I want to humbly thank you for inviting me onto your show, as well as being on my show last week. It was a tremendous success. People loved the content, but tonight, is all about the Royal Rumble. And once again, man, I'm truly honored, humbled to be on with such a knowledgeable, smart guy. It's definitely a pleasure. Happy to be here, man.
Well, heading into this Royal Rumble, I mean, we have a Worlds Collide NXT UK show first, but the Royal Rumble itself, heading into this year's, is your excitement? What was your excitement bar? High, low, middle? Where would you say would be heading into this edition, this year's Royal Rumble?
Um, Talking about like pre event, like the card. I think it's fairly high. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm looking like a 7. It could devolve into a 2 or 3. It could evolve into a 10, but that obviously time will tell. But as far as the anticipation, I'm at about a 7.
Yeah, for me as well. 7. Looking forward to seeing surprises and returns or stuff like that. People being rumored and this and that. Finding out what actually is going to be fact and what's actually going to take place at the Royal Rumble event itself. But before, and something that you kind of brought up, in a pre-show meeting, in regards to Worlds Collide and then NXT being later. Your thoughts on all of that and why you think that, and why you think, your opinion, why you think that's the case in your mind, why that's scheduled or planned out that way by WWE.
Well, Steve, NXT, the takeover events have become pay-per-view quality. I mean, people sometimes look at the NXT takeovers almost as favorably as they look at the following WWE presentations the following day. That's the way it's been over the last couple of years. So, if you think back about previous when World Collide events that WWE Network has put on, um, those certainly haven't been pay-per-view quality. Of course, they were taped. Of course, they were. Um, I don't want to say not well put together, but they certainly were not pay-per-view quality. So what I'm hoping is that this When Worlds Collide coming up on this Saturday night will be definitely an elevated version of what we've seen in the past. And if that's the case, great. Also, on the flip side of being disappointed that NXT Takeover is not going to be the night before the Royal Rumble, there's also a counter argument to that, which is, hey, NXT Takeover has gotten so big, now it's on a Sunday. You know, so obviously we got to see where that plays out. Sometimes if things are not broke, you shouldn't fix it. I think the Saturday night going into the Sunday pay-per-view formula has always worked. Time will tell how this one plays out.
I think for me and my thinking, I think it is because of NXT being so highly popular, always being talked about as better than the main pay-per-view that it is. Even though it's always up against usually one of the big four pay-per-view events when they have it, or in general. So, um, fans thinking that way, and they're entitled to that. I think for WWE's standpoint, being maybe um, to have it on a different night, have it on a Sunday because it deserves that and has earned that of its quality of show and quality of performers they have, the
Mhm.
NXT superstars. But then also to let the main card, the WWE main card roster and the show try to be able to be the big thing for the weekend, for that weekend, to be the number one, to be what it's supposed to be the marquee. In the NXT show, which is supposed to be your appetizer to the meal, to be the appetizer. And for most WWE fans, it was the meal and the dessert.
Mhm.
And the next Sunday, and the Sunday show was just having the appetizer last. Just in that way, if you're thinking of food, kind of thinking,
No, it's a
and
good,
that's
good analogy.
yeah, and that's fine in regards to opinion of the fans because I agree. NXT shows have been great. They've been killing it. They've been awesome. The NXT takeovers.
Mhm.
But I do think it's gotten to a point. Again, my thinking is WWE just wants to have at least trial basis this time to have the NXT show on its own because it deserves it and see how it does.
Mhm.
Have the world collide. Still care about it. Still hitting it out of the park. But Royal Rumble and whatever pay per view would have been, let it stand on its own. Let it be the big dog on campus as it's supposed to be in general, as it was supposed to be and was back when NXT was just a game show.
Mhm.
So, when it didn't deserve a show on a Saturday. So, even from then to now. But speaking of NXT, I know we're talking mostly about the Rumble, but let's do a little bit of NXT because talking about a fan favorite, Mr. Keith Lee
Mhm.
became a champion. So that's cool.
North,
Glad to hear.
yep, North American champ. The era of the undisputed era, owning all the gold, is over at least for the time being.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, did you expect it to happen in regards to just in regards to watching it, expecting him to hold the gold and win the title after all of his chances he's had with all the popularity he has gained in a short order of time? What are your thoughts on him winning the championship, and where do you see him and his future?
I would love to say that I predicted Keith Lee was going to win the North American Championship. I would love to say that I saw this undisputed era reign come to at least some a semblance of a stop. I would love to say that Keith Lee was going to be the guy, and I predicted Keith Lee would be the guy to break up the gold rush that has been going on with the undisputed era. But if I were to say that, I'd be lying because, quite frankly, no, I did not see this coming. I'm a fan of Keith Lee, not a major fan, not a massive fan, but I am a fan of Keith Lee. I think he's a talented guy. I think he needs a little more character development, but we can talk about that at a different time. But as far as he winning the North American Championship, no, I did not. I actually thought that the Undisputed Era would continue to rule over NXT with all four championships all the way through WrestleMania weekend, to which I thought then the Undisputed Era would then debut on Raw or SmackDown. But then again, maybe they won't go anywhere because obviously they're trying to make NXT one of the three brands instead of developmental. That's no longer the case. NXT being the third brand, so there's a good chance that the whole call up thing will not ever happen. But regardless of that fact, absolutely not did I think that Roddy Strong would lose the North American Championship. Roddy Strong is the weak link of Undisputed Era. That's not saying that he's not a talented guy, but I think that he'll always be an outsider amongst the four, considering the fact that Red Dragon and Adam Cole came in together.
Right.
But he's definitely earned his stripes. Again, I don't mean it to sound disparaging or anything. When I say he's the weak link, maybe weak link is the wrong word, but definitely the newcomer, the outsider. Everybody remembers when he turned on, Pete Dunne. But I digress. I did not see it coming, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, honestly.
Hmm. So, in regards to Keith Lee, in regards to his quick future, let's just say, in regards to the Royal Rumble this upcoming Sunday on the WWE Network, that some fans are saying that Keith Lee should be in the Rumble. First off,
Mhm.
I haven't heard anybody go to the point of saying he should win it, but they have said he should be in it. Though it's one of those I've heard fans saying if an NXT superstar that enters the Royal Rumble should win it. It should be Keith Lee, but no one has officially predicted that of their own fact and opinion that is theirs and a right to have. Um, but for you, in regards to Keith Lee, as the minor fan, whatever type of level fan you are of Mr. Lee,
Mhm.
how do you feel about him being in the Royal Rumble? Whether he lasts long or short or just eliminates Brock or whatever people are assuming it could happen, how would you want Keith Lee booked if he was in your Royal Rumble?
In the Royal Rumble, I have no problem with it. Hopefully, not taking a spot away from some people that I hope enter, like Velveteen Dreamer or Adam Cole. But if there is enough room, because there are 25 guys announced so far for the Royal Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble, I have no problem with him being in it. Him winning it, no. That's just not in the cards. Again, I'm a fan, and let me clarify: I'm a fan of his athleticism. I'm a fan of him being a big man that can move like a cruiserweight in some instances. But I just think, and he's a very charismatic guy as well. But I do think he needs some character development, and I think that all plays into what makes a tremendous WWE superstar. There is only one man from NXT who I believe is worthy of winning the Royal Rumble, and that is Adam Cole. So let me make that clear. But him being in the Royal Rumble, Keith Lee, that would not bother me. That would not be out of place. I would have no problem with that.
Yeah, same here. I wouldn't have a problem with that. It also would, for me, depend on where they have him slotted to go
Mhm.
in the Royal Rumble, whether it's an early number, mid number, or late number. And I think, in regards to my way of thinking, in regards to as a fan and a budding journalist, that if he's in the late numbers of the Royal Rumble, that's showing a bigger, let's just say, bigger respect or bigger plans for him in the future by WWE. Meaning, if you have a late number, you are usually those superstars or one of the bigger superstars on the main roster. Usually,
Right.
sometimes in Rumbles there are late numbers that are hawking to Ryder sometimes, but I mean mainly. So, if that was the case, I certainly would see that as a grand thing for Keith Lee in the Rumble, even if it's a short time at number 23 or something. But if he comes in at number 316 or something in those ways, in the early or mid numbers,
Mhm.
then you're thinking, okay, they wanted to put him in there, but not having to have to be there for a long time, and also not being the major part in the story being told for this edition of the Royal Rumble. So, again, I agree. I have no issue with he if he was to be chosen and put in the men's Royal Rumble. I just advise WWE in the way of how they're going to handle Keith Lee being in the men's Royal Rumble if they choose to. Because with anything, there's the good and the bad. There's the smart and non-smart decisions, and no matter what, not everybody's going to love it. But in their mind's eye, you have to find the best way of using Keith Lee and with his popularity. So even though they wouldn't actually bury him, don't do anything booking him in the Rumble that gives the WWE fans any ammunition to say you bury Keith Lee at the Royal Rumble. What the heck are you doing? Kind
Exactly.
of reaction. So cool to have him in, but make sure you know what you're doing in regards to booking him part of the Rumble match. In regards to the card, I think it looks pretty good. Title matches that we have certainly going to be entertaining and interesting for the most part. And just in general with the Rumbles themselves and them being entertaining and fun in their own right.
A couple of matches on there that
Excuse me.
you mentioned
But
part of the pre-show. We could kind of see that from the outside looking in.
yeah. But I was going to start in regards to now heading into predictions in regards to the Royal Rumble pay per view event itself. And first, we'll start off with just simply Shorty G going up against Sheamus, 1-on-1 there. So, in regards to that one-on-one contest, how do you see that one? That one going for returning Sheamus?
Is it okay to say I don't care? No, that's not okay. Um, I Steve, I don't understand this being on a pay per view. I mean, you have matches like Andrade versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship in a ladder match, and at the Royal Rumble, you have Shorty G going up against Sheamus. I don't. I mean, Sheamus is obviously going to run through Shorty G. I just don't understand why this is on the card. Um, but to answer your question, Sheamus will be victorious. I just don't know why. I don't know why this is happening. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't. It doesn't resonate with me. This card, this match being on a card of this magnitude.
The only other thing that makes me think of why this would even be set up for anything, and I guess in a way it doesn't make sense because of different brands, but it just makes me think of like maybe someone attacks Shorty G and takes the spot, and it's a bigger name, and then we have a bigger matchup for Sheamus
Mm-hmm.
at the show, something like that, like you see sometimes. Um, but if it's just gonna be this, yeah, Sheamus all the way.
Yeah.
Sheamus for the win for sure, but in its own right, it certainly was interesting to see that as a first match. It's like an enhancement talent match, a squash match, without it being an actual enhancement talent
You
in
know,
the
when this match was announced, it was almost like, okay, I'm expecting to say next week on SmackDown or later tonight on SmackDown. They're like, oh, Sheamus versus Shorty G at the Royal Rumble. I'm like, really? A 2 week buildup for the Royal Rumble? Shorty G and Sheamus? Really? Okay.
really, yeah. I mean, well, fortunate for Shorty G fans, but unfortunate for others.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, moving right along, let's head on to the United States Championship match. We got the guy formerly known as Andrade Cien Andrade, going up against Humberto Carrillo there for the U.S. title. I love both of these superstars. Tough for me to pick in regards to with the Hispanic flavor in that way for me,
Mm-hmm.
looking at it. So I'll throw it to you first. How do you see this match between Andrade versus Humberto?
Humberto has gold in his future, just not Sunday. Andrade losing the title after retaining in the latter match makes. Well, let me make sure I've said this right. Andrade retaining, right? That's what I thought I said. Andrade retaining at the Royal Rumble after beating Ray in the ladder match makes all the sense in the world. He's on fire right now. Shout out to Zelina Vega. She's doing a really good job as well. Very good antagonist slash beautiful slash annoying slash classic, heel manager. I like it. Andrade wins. No knock on Humberto. I think he has a bright future. Just not this Sunday. Andrade should remain United States champion in my mind, at least until WrestleMania.
I see Humberto in a bright future. Almost the future that the wrestler that had a name close to his in regards to Alberto Del Rio.
Hmm.
And his success before stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
But Humberto, I see something in that kind of path, maybe becoming a world champion in a couple years. First getting the mid titles and going from there, um, and maybe even a Rumble win. However, but I definitely do see things him being well. I was gonna say just him being the future in regards to Hispanic wrestlers, lucha wrestlers in WWE being the number one guy. But you also have Andrade, who's holding it down right now. And congratulations to Andrade. Congratulations to Andrade and Charlotte. Um, engagement. So congratulations to them.
Big deal.
And especially with everything that she's been through in her real life and past relationships and situations and things. Um,
Let me clarify something. I don't want to make it because I didn't know how that sounded when I said big deal. I didn't want it to sound like big deal. I actually mean like that's a big deal. Like congratulations.
no. Yeah,
Yeah,
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
yeah,
You don't want the perception of others.
right.
Understood. But no, congratulations because we've known in regards to the real life of Charlotte Flair, Ashley Flair, of her past relationships and past situations, let's just say, as well. So definitely congratulations to them both. Happy and glad they found
Yeah,
each other.
yes, sir.
So moving right along, we got the SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley facing off against Lacey Evans, Marine Corps veteran, hashtag fellow veteran. But Lacey Evans and Bayley in this championship match. I'll go first here. As much as I'd like to see Lacey get the win because I am a fan of hers. First off, was because of the real life former, military veteran Enjoying her character. She's certainly just grown on me in regards to as that character on this big screen. At first, it was all right. This it's cool at first because it's better, but then where is this going? Will it be able to sustain? And I didn't know if it would, but I've enjoyed it. Certainly enjoyed in regards to with this storyline with Lacey Evans, Bailey, and Sasha Banks. Excuse me. Her daughter got in the mix. Sasha Banks, kind of like with Sasha Banks and Bailey feud when Izzy was part of that at the moment in NXT. Um, but for me, I'm going with Bailey to retain as much as I want to back Lacey here. I don't think it's quite yet her time to be winning championships, though I would love to be wrong. But I'm predicting Bailey to successfully retain, if not by the help of Sasha freaking Banks. Which way
I,
are you going?
I agree completely. As a matter of fact, I agree totally, especially with the Sasha Banks factor. Let me tell you something. I really enjoy the Lacey Evans face turn because there wasn't anything glaring in this face turn that had people saying, it wasn't like Lacey Evans stood on her soapbox was like, "Hey, look at me, I'm a face now." Like it was a gradual, easygoing change. Implement daughter, implement husband, implement veteran history as far as her time in the military. Once again, to you, Steve, and to all our veterans out there, thank you so much for your service. Um, I like it. I like it. I just don't think Lacey Evans is going to beat Bailey on Sunday. First of all, shout out to Bailey because this heel turn has been massively successful. I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, this whole Sasha Banks thing not being on the show, I think she might be like, kayfabe. I think she might be hurt or something. Like she's recovering some kind of whatever. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But either way, Bailey retains due to Sasha Banks' interference, which will, I think, then finally lead to Lacey versus Sasha one-on-one on an upcoming edition of SmackDown or maybe at Fastlane or whatever the case may be. But for Sunday, Bailey retains. I think she deserves to retain. And that's another champion that I think should have gold around her waist walking into Tampa Bay in April.
See, I don't know if I agree with that. In regards to Bailey holding the title to WrestleMania,
Okay.
whether it's Lacey or somebody else, and this is kind of why I was going back and forth in regards to should I pick Lacey, have her be the champion of Mania, have a Lacey Sasha Banks match at Mania,
Mhm.
and how strong, if they would be able to make that a strong build up for one of their main women's titles being defended at WrestleMania.
Uh-huh.
Maybe not as much as a different matchup. We still have the Ronda Rousey situation thing in regards to if she's coming back and will she be put in the mix on
True.
Raw or SmackDown, probably more on Raw, but still, in general in the women's division. So in regards to SmackDown, I think it's probably going to be the case of Bailey holding the title at WrestleMania. I would just personally, as a fan, rather it be with Lacey Evans and then Lacey Evans facing off against Sasha Banks and the feud that you can build up to WrestleMania between those two.
Mhm.
I think would be able to, if done correctly, then be able to be a good marquee match, the number one match for the women's division on SmackDown Live, on SmackDown to go up against what Raw has, whatever their title match will be for WrestleMania. So um, I think that would be great. I think Bailey. I've enjoyed her as a heel. I know I was rambling months ago about how she should have been. It should have been her heel Sasha face when that was supposed to be a feud.
Right.
And I was saying, hey, that should be the case, and everybody else was saying, no, Sasha's already great at it. And I'm like, okay, she is, but Bailey, her turn. Her time is now, sort of thing, to be a
Long
heel.
overdue. Long overdue.
And I think she would have, and I believe that, and I think now, she took that ball and ran with it. So, that's great. But I think in regards to building up for WrestleMania, for me, rather have the latter. So, either way, it's going to be an entertaining match. I certainly look forward to it, no matter who wins, whether it's Lacey or Bailey. But either way, we're moving right along to two dudes I like, one over the other, but they're both cool in their own way. To me, we've got Roman Reigns up against Baron Corbin, or just as he should be known, King Corbin. King Corbin. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I know this really shouldn't factor in liking a superstar, because it really shouldn't. But it does for me. That theme song mix for his King Corbin thing is actually pretty good.
It's pretty awesome. It is.
And how they mixed it up and everything. And I actually listened to it even, and not just on YouTube, but I mean actually because whatever, when he was on WWE backstage
Mm-hmm.
and he was doing the entrance thing and whatever, I could hear it a little bit better than in a crowd with people booing or cheering him. Um, and then just hearing him, him talk, out of kayfabe in a sense, and talking about, um, how he really is a good heel in regards to how he, takes with his craft. If someone says, he looks like a waiter, I'm gonna wear this now more often, so I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. As much as it's a simple thing, it's also a smart thing.
Sure.
Do, take, do what took you to the dance, sort of thing. Do that, and get that heat, and just continue, because then it'll piss people off even more, which then makes you and the company more money in a sense, yourself and Vince McMahon's company. So King Corbin or Baron Corbin, I think, has done very well in this role, and you already know. Hopefully, the sky's the limit. Hopefully, he does get a championship. Unfortunately, he won Money in the Bank, did not win the championship with that situation with Cena or Cena costing him. I mean, not with Cena as a champion, but you know what I mean. So Baron Corbin, I do see that in the cards for him. Maybe next year Mania, maybe next year SummerSlam, whatever. But either way, just wanted to speak on that first. But in regards to the match itself, Roman Reigns versus King Corbin, Sean, how do you see this match going down, and who do you see getting the W?
Steve, I got to tell you, man, I could not stand Baron Corbin. It was something that ate away at me to see him continue to get airtime week after week. But then one day, I said to myself, wait a minute. He's annoying because he's supposed to be annoying. He's getting on everybody's nerves because he's supposed to be getting annoying. And when I started looking at it from that perspective, I was like, this guy is really good. Like, he's doing his job. So, with that being said, I think Baron Corbin should win. See, Roman Reigns is at a point in his career where a loss at the Royal Rumble is not going to mess him up. You're not going to lose, the fanfare of Roman Reigns if Roman Reigns takes an L at the Royal Rumble, just like when he took an L at TLC. But I think WWE is going to go the opposite route. I want to say Baron Corbin wins. I want to say King Corbin, as he continues to do his job and do it really, really well, to a point where I admit I didn't appreciate it the way I should have months and months ago. But now I'm starting to see what everybody's talking about. But I think WWE is not going to allow Roman Reigns to lose at 2 straight pay-per-views. So I think Roman Reigns gets it done. Much to my dismay, I'm surprised to say.
Yeah, well, I'm actually gonna put my money with mouth. I'm gonna go with King Corbin to win,
Okay.
and hoping it and this and that, but really do think it would be good. Like I said, nothing's gonna hurt Roman Reigns in the loss, and I certainly looking forward to seeing how everything moves forward for him in that way. But yeah, I'm going with King Corbin for the win, and as we move right along the Raw Women's Championship, we got Becky Lynch versus Asuka in a one-on-one contest there. I'm gonna go first, and I'll just simply go and say that Becky Lynch to retain her Raw Women's Championship. I do think for her, be best for her to hold the title to WrestleMania, maybe drop it there. If not, hold it past WrestleMania, maybe. But either way, as you're getting through Asuka, not saying it's going to be easy. I'm just saying I see her getting the win there. But what say you? How do you see the Raw Women's Championship match going down at Royal Rumble?
8 words, my friend Steven. 8 words. All good things must come to an end. Becky Lynch losing to Asuka makes all the sense in the world. There is no reason why, after Asuka has dominated her over the past year and a half, 2 years, let's say a year and change, that all of a sudden Becky figures it out. I understand that's how these things go, but Becky losing the title at Royal Rumble is not going to knock her off her perch. Asuka deserves after everything Asuka's been through, WrestleMania 34, losing the title, tapping out to, Charlotte. Then WrestleMania 35, not even making it to the main event, not even making it to the show because basically she lost the title to Charlotte a couple days before WrestleMania even got here. And now we're on the doorstep of WrestleMania 36, or at least the road to it. And Asuka, let's call a spade a spade. Asuka hasn't looked this good in a long time. She's starting to get her feet back underneath her. Why lose to Becky? Why does Becky have to? This is starting to. It's like don't Roman Reigns Becky Lynch WWE. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't Roman Reigns Becky Lynch. Don't have her winning at nauseum to the point where now, because you're starting to hear a couple of boos in the crowd now. Steve. If you watch the show, you hear a couple of boos. The Becky chants are a little bit more faint than they used to be because there comes a time where all good things must come to an end. So with that being said, I'm going to predict Asuka wins. I hope WWE, in my mind, maybe you don't believe it's the right thing, but I think it's the right thing for Asuka to win, and I'm hoping WWE feels the same way.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying that's a wrong thing. I don't see that as a negative thing with Asuka being a champion. Um,
Asuka 2 belts.
Asuka 2 belts. Yeah, we had Becky 2 belts, have an Asuka 2 belts. Also, in regards to past shows, even though I know we're talking about Royal Rumble, but talking about Asuka made me think of Jerry the King Lawler, only in the fact of he was even during commentary during Curry Sane match or just with them in there, whether it was his job or just him, he just seemed a little his commentary seemed a little racist.
Oh, did it?
In regards to
Okay.
the way he was talking about them and kind of offhandedly, I don't think he is that. I don't know.
Right.
Older guys sometimes are, but um, whether outwardly or closeted, but it just seemed that way. Maybe it was just his job and he was just being a heel and he just went a little too far. But it just sometimes during a Kairi Sane match or when Oscar and Kairi Sane were um, during that contract signing or something, it just seemed that way to
Okay.
me. So,
It's possible.
but either way, Jerry Lawler, he's a interesting personality, anyways.
Yeah.
But either way, moving forward from that stuff, um, we head into the Universal Championship. We will be in the Rumbles last year, of course. The Universal Championship match, we have the Fiend Bray Wyatt facing off against Daniel Bryan. The Yes Movement is back. That Daniel Bryan facing off against the Fiend Bray Wyatt for the Universal Championship, as I said. But Sean, I'll let you go first here. Do you see Daniel Bryan having a chance of winning the Universal title?
No. I wish the answer was yes. Yes, yes, yes. But no, unfortunately, I think Daniel Bryan loses, and I actually think he'll lose decisively. As sad as I am to say that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a long drawn out match. And in the end, I do agree. I see the Fiend winning and retaining the championship. Now the question is, how long do you think the Fiend should be holding this championship? I'm WrestleMania further than WrestleMania because not all title reigns have to end at WrestleMania. Sometimes title reigns start at WrestleMania. So and they can continue through. So how long do you think the Fiend should hold said championship?
I think the Fiend's on fire right now. I think for the sake of WrestleMania continuing to be a special thing, which it always is going to be, I think him losing the title at WrestleMania makes sense. It just depends on who it would be. Now, I will say this: if Daniel Bryan somehow gets back into the picture and somehow this thing swings back around and he's facing the Fiend again at WrestleMania, I would love to see Daniel Bryan win, and I think he would. If you give me Daniel Bryan and versus the Fiend at WrestleMania, I think Daniel Bryan wins. But to answer your question directly, I'd say WrestleMania, somewhere around there. I think the Fiend has earned the right, Bray Wyatt, whoever you want to call him, has earned the right to hold on to that belt until then. He's had a tremendous comeback. His character is off the chain. I'm a Daniel Bryan fan. I think he beats Daniel Bryan. I think he retains at Fastlane or whatever the pay-per-views are coming up. And I think he loses to somebody I really don't want to say. I've heard the rumors. I think we all have, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll get to that train if it comes to that in regards to who could be the one to take it from the Fiend moving forward. But for as of right now, yeah, I agree with that. Let's head into the men's Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
The men's Royal Rumble, where they have most are announced in regards to the list of superstars. Still a couple places and spots open for return to prizes or whatever else. So let's just talk about that since that's usually what most people want to hear opinions of. Who do you think would be a great surprise or a return for the men's Royal Rumble?
If he's healthy, Velveteen Dream. If he's healthy, Velveteen Dream. Uh, that's the more realistic of the surprises. There is this off the wall surprise that could happen. I mean, we could see a certain bald headed, beer swilling, finger gesturing, young man that's been out of the game since 2003 make a surprise return. That's a rumor that's out there. I personally don't think it will happen, but it would be awesome. But my realistic, I'll actually go on a limb and say my realistic prediction will be that Velveteen Dream returns at the Royal Rumble.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking about that too in regards to Austin. Also, hearing the rumors in regards to Edge as well, and that's
Mm-hmm.
being shot down by him, but you never know. John Morrison would have been a good one, but he's already back.
Yep,
Um, so before that, he would have been my number one. But I think
definitely.
for me, I agree. If he's healthy, Velveteen Dream being a surprise, or I guess somewhat Keith Lee being a surprise, but not that big of a surprise. Um, but I don't really think of any
There's
other bigger surprises.
there's always that outside, like, probably will never ever happen, but we can always think about it because, there's always the CM Punk factor.
Oh, CM Punk, yeah. I mean, he's back, even though he works for Fox.
Right.
But um, that certainly would be cool. Him being in a wrestling match again, just for a short time, and then get out of there, sort of thing. Cool for the fans, of course. They said they pop for that. That'd be the biggest moment of the night.
Oh, yes.
Over Velveteen Dream. Even
Yes.
even if you have Velveteen Dream and CM Punk at that Royal Rumble, more people will pop for CM Punk. I
100%.
overall love Velveteen Dream because he's there. But yeah, I think the CM Punk thing would just break the internet. And if it hasn't already, when he came back into the wrestling world, part of WWE backstage.
Most definitely.
Most definitely, most definitely. A lot of other oddballs, of course, that could happen. Triple H randomly put him in there if they can't need a body.
Keep
Kane, because Kane came back for that time and kind of brought it to the Fiend in regards to talking, not fighting. But
Undertaker.
you know what? I actually hope not.
Mm-hmm.
But I want him to be as well rested as he can be for a WrestleMania match.
Right.
So we don't need any extra bumps.
True.
Uh, but
Oh, John Cena.
you know, that would be a surprise in the fact that I did see that interview where he said he's pretty much done with wrestling.
Right.
So, and him saying that, but then him coming to a Royal Rumble, that would be its own surprise to some fans um, that follow him that intensely, that saw that interview.
Right.
Um, and with the passing of The Rock's father,
Right.
the big one would be having The Rock surprise. Um, but again, if you have The Rock, John Cena, Velveteen Dream, CM Punk's gonna be the main superstar that people are going to be most emphatic with because of the fact of we never thought it was going to happen again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as much as we all talk about never say never in the back of our minds, subconsciously, we thought, no,
Yeah.
nope. I don't
Never.
need to hear any more rumors. I don't need to hear speculations. I don't need to hear, oh, he's in this town or he's backstage of a show. We don't care anymore. Our individuals don't care anymore because we don't think it's ever going to happen and be in the cards for him to be on a show of any
And,
type.
we think about Steve. We think about, like, CM Punk being gone. It feels like, oh well, he hasn't been gone that long. It's been 6 years. I mean, time has rolled by. It's been 6 years. It's not like oh, CM Punk's only been gone for a year. No, it's been 6 years. So it's like now after 6 years, like let's let this thing go. Obviously, as you said accurately, the return to a WWE program, which is the backstage thing, obviously rekindles or restokes that flame. But I mean, I'd still be massively surprised if he ever wrestled again.
Hmm.
And I
And
hope I'm right. I hope I am wrong, wrong, wrong. I would love to be wrong about that.
but my friend, also don't put it above WWE to troll us and have his theme music hit, and somebody else comes out or nothing happens.
True, true.
I'd be a
Absolutely.
little bit annoyed, but then I also would smile because that was a good one,
Right?
sort of thing. But hopefully he's either there and he comes out, or they just don't play it the music at all. So either way, certainly going to be as always entertaining to see how that goes. So for you, you have predicted in regards to Velveteen Dream to be the surprise. Who do you predict to be the winner of the men's 2020 Royal Rumble match?
I like to be right, Steve. I like to be
Me
right.
too.
Being right makes me being right is one of my all-time favorite pastimes. um and there's a name that I can say that would almost most assuredly make me right. Um but I'd rather be wrong and hope that my answer in the back of my head, right answer is wrong, than to go with what I know is right just to be right, if that makes any sense.
It does.
So, with that being said, because I'm not even going to mention the other person's name, that I think we all
Speak it
know.
into the universe.
Yeah, we think we all know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Kofi Kingston wins the Royal Rumble. I'm going to say Kofi Kingston has a massive turnaround and avenges 8-second loss and takes his talents to Raw and challenges Brock Lesnar. I'll go out on a limb. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Steve, everybody listening on this wonderful show, we all know who I really think is going to win this match. I'm just not going to say it because I believe if you speak things into existence, that's what it'll be. So I'm going to go against the grain. If you want to know who I really think is going to win the Royal Rumble, tweet me and I will reveal it. But I don't want to say it on the air because I just don't want it to be true. So I'll say Kofi Kingston just for what's and giggles. I'll say Kofi Kingston because it would be really cool if he got the job done.
Royal Rumbles should be also sometimes of a platform for superstars to be able to be made. We talk about that in regards to the Money in the Bank, and for the next superstar to become a champion, because the percentages are usually high, especially if you're a heel.
Mm-hmm.
But so to win the Royal Rumble, and I think he might be part of it in regards to my shits and giggles, in regards to my wanting it as a fan, but also think it could work logically as well, no matter who he would want to face to become a WWE or Universal Champion. I'm gonna go with King Corbin. Baron Corbin, I see him in the Royal Rumble after having his match, maybe even with a loss, getting his ass kicked. Let's say even the match is a short match or something, and he couldn't get it done. But he comes back in the Rumble. He comes he comes in at 28 or something late in the Rumble, and shit's just laying for him to get things done in regards to that.
Mm-hmm.
Or Brock Lesnar comes back and just destroys people,
Mm-hmm.
and all he has to do is throw him out. Um, but I see the final two being King Corbin and Andrade. I
Mm-hmm.
think those two would be the great final two. Um, the futures of WWE in a sense, in their own right, in their own ways. So that's the two. That's the way that I'm gonna go in regards to that. I see King Corbin to be the winner beyond the one that the he who shall not be named. But Um,
People
but
who will not be named. There you go, my brother. Yes,
yeah, just like Harry Potter. But
exactly.
either way, I'm going with that. Semi-serious, but also fandom thinking. Really think for Baron Corbin would be great. Also for Andrade, formerly Andrade Giannomis, to have him in that sort of a moment, being in the final two of a Royal Rumble. Yes, he's already a champion, so we won't see him winning. But unless he wants to be Andrade two belts. But either way, I think Baron King Corbin would be a great Rumble winner because just as being a king, just winning King of the Ring, and being that annoying pain in the ass heel as a king and his crown and everything, even though it got a good upgrade here,
Right.
it got a good upgrade in look. Still pissing people off, and I think if he won the Royal Rumble as well, look
Oh,
out, look out for those promos.
oh yeah, that'd be good stuff. I admit that would be good stuff.
And it would already start with reactions on Twitter. So with with his win,
Let me just squeeze one more thing in though, regarding if I may,
yep,
in regards to the person that we're not going to name, the person who's going to remain nameless. I believe this show is hot. I believe this show is cool. I believe that somebody of importance will see this show. I don't care if it's somebody in the WWE offices. I don't care. I believe this show is good, and I believe it's going to reach the masses. So I'm just going to believe and have faith that somebody of importance, somebody major, somebody in the industry is going to see this show. All right, my mouth,
you never know. Yeah,
lips to God's ears. Right. Just think about what the fans want. Please. It's the second most important pay per view in WWE's calendar. Maybe SummerSlam would say, but I think the second most important pay per view on W. Please just think about what the fans want. That's all I ask.
I agree. Think, think before you do. Don't do anything too rationally. Don't, I say this respectfully if there is someone in the office watching.
Right.
Don't let your ego get in the way of what could be a good story.
Right.
If you could think, even if it's not Andrade, or if it's not Baron Corbin, or if it's not Kofi Kingston, but if it's somebody else that you think, or that could be a good Royal Rumble winner, because for anything, especially when you're planning something, you first find that solution or find that main character and
Mhm.
you build it around it. So if you think of another superstar that for you think would work better than said wrestler, that or unnamed wrestler, that go with that and
Right.
go with where the fans are trying to drive you to go. Now it doesn't mean you have to go to the ones we're saying or the ones that 100% of the fans are saying.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is to listen to your fans in regards to a difference, in regards to building superstars, to making your company better. You're going up now against AEW. You're going up against other companies that you have been for years. But now AEW actually trying to be its own beast and actually trying to be competition. As
Yes.
Sean spoke of on his own show, Harvard Wrestling Weekly, last week, all about AEW. So, in regards to your Royal Rumble, in regards to up against your competition, think of the fans because I know AEW is and how they're booking things and also how they're doing their shows. So, in your way, in your machine that is WWE, the king of sports entertainment slash pro wrestling, you don't have to always go with what your ego is telling you, and sometimes it is best for business to listen to the fans. Now,
Amen.
now I know there are also, I gotta also say this because in defense of WWE corporate and defense of WWE and Vince McMahon himself, there are fans that are entitled to opinions that may be a little bit too much off the wall.
True.
But the point is, you also have the strong and more intelligente fans that are speaking of their own facts, maybe said in different ways. Me and the monotone, slow talking voice, or in others in loud rants on their channel or on social media. But they're passionate. We're passionate in our own ways, WWE, and you know that, and you understand that. So my saying to you, as as a son of a former business owner, as a person that's now talks pro wrestling on the weekly, then it's good to listen to your clientele. It's good to listen to the customer because it's not always true that the customer is always right, but it's also 100% fact that their opinions matter because without them, you don't have a business. So, in that vein, listen to your WWE audience, go in a different direction that you may fight to go against. You may fight it to your core of your soul, but know that if you do, your ends will justify those means. That you're fighting it as much as that sucks, and you green light it, Vince McMahon, and you're begrudgingly doing it, but you see the reaction on Sunday night.
Right.
Here comes the money because people will watch more and believe in you. Now, for them to believe in you, you need to do this more than just once. It needs to be a continual thing. It needs to be a trend, not a blip. So that's step two. But step one is Royal Rumble. One thing at a time, right? So Royal Rumble, let's let's have a surprise. And I don't just mean surprise of superstars coming into your Royal Rumble WWE, but I mean winning said Royal Rumble. Because if that happens, I know we all will have our own reactions, whether video, tweets, or otherwise, on social media or YouTube channels, that the fans are generally pleased with, excuse me, with what you decided and what you came to conclusion for the men's Royal Rumble. Now, so we don't have to regurgitate this. We mean the same for the women's.
Yes.
So in both lights, do what you think is best, fine, but also think as well. Hey, what's up, Conrad? Everything Pro Wrestling.
All right. What's up,
We'd love
man?
to have you on. I know you're busy, but definitely, definitely, everybody check out Everything Pro Wrestling and his prediction in regards to Royal Rumble and other content he does have. Again, Everything Pro Wrestling here on YouTube. Subscribe, ring that bell as well. But yeah, I agree with you there. I see it a little bit in a different way in regards to um, my standing. With like I said, being a son of a former business owner, in regards to my parents used to own a business, in regards to how our business was different. It was a gas station restaurant. It wasn't a multi-million-dollar wrestling company,
But
but
a thriving business.
right, a business, a local business, a family-oriented business, which the WB was at one point, a McMahon family business. Um, and learning from my parents and learning from that is of, like you were saying yourself eloquently as well. WB, listen to your fans, and in the end, they will reward you by going to more shows, buying more merchandise, caring, um, free marketing, promotion to fellow fans and family members. Getting you maybe get more subscribers to the network because of that, and just with all of that, be able to go against your own grain, but also doing what was best for your company.
Well
So,
said. Well said.
so in other words, hopefully that is the case. For me though, as I said, for the Royal Rumble for the prediction, I've officially went with Baron Corbin, King Corbin, and the final two being King Corbin and Andrade. So hopefully that would be the case. But let's move over to the women's side where they only have a select few already actually announced for the women's Royal Rumble, and the rest is up to chance. Or we kind of do know, but we don't. But I'll go first in regards to picking who I think is my lock in pick of the weekend for surprise, and who would be a great or return surprise, whatever. Um, and it's kind of been hinted, but the returning Naomi, I think if she's healthy, 100% ready to go, I think she would be my prediction for that. Um, I would say that definitely would be the best way to go in regards to be a surprise, to be a return. So I'm gonna predict Naomi. Naomi is my prediction for return slash surprise for the women's Royal Rumble. So just talking about that, what say you for your prediction for the women's Royal Rumble?
Shout out to the Usos. Shout out to Naomi. Welcome back. Long overdue, but we all know why they were kind of off the scene. But it's really cool to see them back. I like that prediction. That's off the grid a little bit, but I really like it. It was a really bold prediction. Naomi's a tremendous athlete and former champion, so I would have no problem with that at all. Mine, Sasha Banks. I think Sasha Banks wins the Royal Rumble. I think as long as she's healthy, God willing, she's healthy. But I think she wins the Royal Rumble, and I think it sets up what I think would be a much anticipated match between her and her best friend Bayley. Whether they make it to WrestleMania as best friends or not, that remains to be seen. I think that's what would make tremendous, awesome television, where there would be this dynamic of whether or not they're going to be able to be friends throughout the entire road to WrestleMania and through the match. That would be cool. Whether they made it all the way there and then Sasha showed the true colors, whether they make it halfway and Sasha shows her true colors or Bayley shows her true color, whatever the case may be, them being on a collision course as friends, I think would be an awesome story to tell over the next 2 or 3 months. So my prediction is that Sasha Banks wins the Royal Rumble.
All right, and did you say who you have for in regards to prediction for surprise or return?
I could see somebody like Alundra Blaze coming out. She's still in pretty good shape. I could see somebody like Lita coming out. Um, perhaps perhaps some NXT people. Maybe you can have like I really think Dakota Kai is really doing a good job with this new heel character. I would love to see her get her 2 minutes of fame, for lack of better terms.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll go with Dakota Kai. I'll go with Lita, and I'll go with Medusa.
If I had to pick someone in regards from the NXT world, which I honestly actually didn't think about in regard to prediction, I just went straight to Naomi. But someone that I've really been high on, I've been saying this for a year or whatever, and you've heard me say it too, but I've really been big from the start with Bianca Belair, and I would like to see her in the Royal Rumble. I think that would be great, and I think she would be like my NXT pick. Also, Candice LeRae would be cool as well. I think those two would be like my backup picks in regards to who I'd want in the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, if we had to take odds, in regards to with CM Punk and AJ Lee, I think the odds are more to AJ Lee to be in the Women's Rumble
Agreed.
than CM Punk to be in the men's.
Agreed.
But
I'm gonna tell you something right now. If they do the Women's Royal Rumble before the men's, and AJ Lee comes out, every person in the arena is going to be chanting CM Punk for the rest of the night. So, if that's the case, just plan it properly, WWE.
if that's the case, if that's the case, you have the men's start off the show and the women's end it.
So. Right. Exactly.
Conrad over at Everything Pro Wrestling asking, who turns face, Sean?
Yeah, because they're both heels. Shout out to my brother Conrad. I don't know, Sasha. Bayley's the one who feels like she's still, in Sasha's shadow. Maybe she starts listening to that, Corey Graves, mumbo jumbo about how she's still, in the shadow even though she's the champion. Maybe Bayley has enough and beats the snot out of Sasha, which would automatically make Sasha the face, or it could be a heel versus heel matchup, which is not a horrible idea. They both can be antagonists, and they both can be just going after a championship.
It's not the end of the world, right?
Not at all.
But something would be interesting, nonetheless, to see that, as you see here on the stream for those watching live or otherwise. Conrad saying, "Give me Victoria for his pick." Since he's here, Conrad, who do you see winning the men's and women's Royal Rumble? If you wish to share, and any other thoughts. But he also CM Punk chance here. CM Punk.
There you go.
But
you can hear it already. Already there in outside Minute Maid Park chanting his name.
2 seconds into the show, they'll be chanting his name, and no match even happens yet in regards to the actual show.
That's exactly right.
Or the pre-show matches, it'll be happening all night. because they want it, and I respect that. I mean, it there was a time for me, like you said, it's been a long time, and for me, it feels longer than that actually. Like
Mm.
you were saying, to some people it feels less. For me,
Mm.
it feels longer. Like it's been like 10 to 12 years, but it
Wow.
hasn't. But either way, it's been a while, and it certainly would be great to have him back. But that's why they would. The fans are just going to take over the show,
Mhm.
and it's certainly going to be.
And for that reason, I think what you just said was, which was kind of a prediction without being a prediction. I think that the men's Royal Rumble will run first, or at least it goes on before the women. I think that's a tremendous idea if they're trying to avoid that CM Punk madness. I think that's the only way to make sure it doesn't go on all night. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now: if the men's Royal Rumble is last, there's gonna be CM Punk chants from the pre-show all the way until the 30th entrant comes down the aisle.
Oh yeah,
So, you know.
he said for the women's he's going Shayna Baszler.
Ooh, that's a nice prediction.
For the women's that honestly, I respect it obviously, and I wouldn't say that's a out of nowhere pick. It's a good strong pick, sir. But for me, it kind of be surprising for if Shayna Baszler wins it. Just only in the mere fact of okay, I'd rather her just be part of it. But I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I'm just saying for me personally, it might not be best in regards to her winning it. And he's going for the men's Roman Reigns. So he
We've been trying to avoid that all night long.
well, I got to read what it said. Respect the man. So
That's true.
he's our buddy. But but either way, that's where he's going, and we'll see if that's the case. Anyways, moving right along. Um, yeah. Either way, I think with the men's and women's Royal Rumble, it's always interesting to see what happens and where the surprises are, and where it's going to lead us into moving forward. And I'm sure there may be even some other ideas, surprises that may be happening that we're not even thinking about yet. That may happen, and the
Yes.
whole show in general. Not
Let me throw something at you real quick that I think you'll enjoy. What better way for NXT to be considered the major brand in professional wrestling, at least in WWE, or an NXT person, or a matter of fact, any person under the company umbrella to win the Royal Rumble and choose to challenge for the NXT championship?
who now that would be something, but doesn't mean they have to, right? If you win the Royal Rumble, you can choose another championship. It doesn't actually have to be the NXT championship, and it doesn't mean a call up either, right? This is now lateral, as Triple H and others have said, kayfabe and non-kayfabe, um, that NXT is its own brand, its own thing. So, um, if an NXT superstar wins, it does not automatically mean that it's the NXT championship. But what it does mean is more in regards to the product of NXT, even though it's already popular. But just would be very interesting in that realm. Kind of saying if Rousey is getting a WrestleMania payday, she wins the Royal Rumble. So
Uh, Sound point, sound argument. I agree with you. I just hope that doesn't. I hope that's not the case. But I can see it happen. I mean, we were talking about before the show came on the air. Me and you, Steve, how there's only 5 participants in the women's Royal Rumble match. 5 announced. That leaves the door wide on the men's side. To the contrary, there's 25 people, and you might as well say Andrade is going to be in. You might as well say Roman Reigns is going to be in. You might as well say King Corbin's going to be in. So we're really talking about 28 guys. But on the flip side, 5 women. 5 women. It's insane.
I know crazy in regards to that. It's certainly going to be interesting to see how that works. He's saying here Rousey versus Becky is the best match for Becky for WrestleMania. I assume he's talking about. Yeah. I mean, I did talk about earlier as well, regards to how, for the women's side of SmackDown, how having Lacey Evans and Sasha Banks could be best for Lacey Evans, even obviously more so than Sasha. But I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm not too keen on Sasha, and really haven't been for a while.
Okay.
Um, so as cool as that would be, I'd definitely be going for. Um, lacy there, but just yeah, just Sasha Banks. Mm, she's just to me a little bit overrated, and
Really?
it's unfortunate, but just how I see it in regards to the women's division. Just like how I was feeling for a while, Andrade was underrated in the men's division. So, um, yeah, I don't know. But either way, it's something going to be. It's just to her. It just seems like she's just, as people say, and somewhat maybe in a bad light, but shoved down their throats. But more so for me, it's just a Sasha Banks. It's just her gimmick seems a little bit extra. She's
Okay.
trying a little bit too hard. She's also seems like someone of an ass in real life to fans,
I've
but
I've heard.
it just seems like with her, she's
You're just not a fan, and that's
no,
okay.
just not. It's just not messing for me. Just like I love Alexa Bliss, but to other people they dislike her a lot. So
On the men's side, people think I'm nuts because I'm not a big fan of somebody like Ricochet. But it's to each his own.
exactly. Though it's just because we don't like these superstars does not mean we don't want them to do well. We just feel that for those characters, we just aren't the biggest fans. But in regards to the Royal Rumble, is there any other last words or last things you'd like to say for the show, or what? Any last words in regards to the show, and also the final prediction I ask from you is heading into the show. What match do you see is going to be for you personally, Sean? The match of the night.
I believe. Oh, let me see here. I want to make sure I'm accurate about what I'm about to say. I could see match of the night. Match of the night. I think Becky and Oscar will be the match of the night. I think if Becky gets over that hump, which I hope she doesn't, but I think if Becky gets over that Oscar hump, it will take a Herculean effort. And I think Oscar's going to be on top of her game, and I think Becky's going to be on top of her game. It's going to lead to some special things. Um, like I said, to me, it's the second most important pay per view in all of wrestling. It sets the stage for the biggest pay per view in the world, and look at Conrad going in on. I kid you not, my brother. I do not agree with our good friend Steve on this one, but we're all entitled to our opinions. I love it. I love it. But no, Becky and Oscar steal the show. Kofi Kingston gets his revenge. Sasha Banks goes on to face her friend at WrestleMania. Let's hope that WWE does this right because they've done it wrong so many times. And we just let's have fun. Let's have some fun on Sunday night. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I'm just going through his other ones as well here. He's saying here, I think the Rumble should be on TV. If booked correctly, this could shock fans or backfire on them.
Right.
Hmm. Well, with anything can shock and backfire. Anything could be good or bad. And as we know, in regards to just life, people perceive things and throw opinions from there. But either way, it shall be fun. Now, for me, for match of the night, I see I kind of did this last year too. The women's Royal Rumble to be the match of the night.
Mhm.
With seems like stronger potential for entertainment, better, I guess you could say, subjectively, the better surprises. But either way, certainly would be attending for that part of it. Comment saying here, Reigns wins, people will boo. Drew wins, people will cheer. Okay, that is true. If Kofi Kingston wins, people will cheer. If King Corbin wins, people will boo as well. So, with regards to our predictions, um, there in regards to the men's Royal Rumble. Um, but yeah, I think we kind of broached and talked about everything that we can in regards to the Royal Rumble, WWE currently. Certainly going to be entertaining to see how the Royal Rumble goes. I know our boy Malik will be doing a live stream on his channel,
Nice.
Knuckle Boy 94. I hopefully will be able to be a part of that during the Royal Rumble. I think it will be during the whole show. So that certainly will be entertaining again. Narcolepsy Boy 94. Go check it out. Conrad again. I hope the Rumble tells a meaningful story. I missed that in some of the older Rumbles.
Right, and to that point, we got to remember the Royal Rumble is not just to set the stage for the main event. The Royal Rumble also has the power and ability to set stages for other WrestleMania matches. It set the stage for Brock versus Goldberg back in 2004, though it was a terrible match. It set the stage for many men. It set the stage for Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21, which was a historically good match. Royal Rumble is a platform to set the stage for WrestleMania, not just the main event.
Agreed. Because it's supposed to be a whole show, right? As much as the main event's the main event, you
Right.
still have a whole card to make.
Exactly.
He said, let Kofi eliminate Brock. Now that would be something if Kofi Kingston eliminates Brock Lesnar.
Oh boy, I'm fired up, man. I want Kofi to win this thing. That would make my whole wrestling life if Kofi can win this thing.
And I just think, right? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I would assume you would enjoy it a little bit more if Brock and Kofi were the final two, and Kofi eliminates Brock to win the Royal Rumble.
That's wrestling poetry at its best if that were to take place. The ultimate in redemption. The ultimate in redemption. That would finally erase the stain of the SmackDown Live on Fox debut. That would erase it.
I still remember to this day the reaction of Goldberg and Mark Henry when the camera went to them after Brock won the title in the 8 seconds and everything, how he looked stunned. But
it was an ugly moment, but I don't want to get into it because I get all fired up about it.
understood. But either way, yeah, I think that would be a double great thing. Kofi winning it, but then the cherry on top being him. Now, since we have Monty's Corner chatting here, well, thank you for staying as long as you have, Conrad. How do you see Randy Orton doing in the Royal Rumble, Sean?
Randy will do well. I don't think he'll end up being the winner, but I see. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I went off about that Kofi Kingston thing. Oh, but Randy Orton, give me 10 RKO's and I'm a happy man.
There you go, 10. 10 RKO's followed by 10 eliminations. That'd be a good, strong showing by Mr. Orton. I said on Twitter, when he with that fake retirement, or wasn't even going to be retirement, but that segment with his injury and the cane, and how he did that from the start to the finish.
Yeah,
the crutch at the top of the stage, needed help in the ring.
Yeah, but it started from a house show the night before.
Right.
Oh my God, that was unbelievable.
And I was sunk in. I was like, holy crap, is this guy going to retire? I hope not.
Yeah, me too.
And then I only started thinking maybe not, but it was less, but maybe not when AJ Styles came out, because I'm like, if he was really going to, or even hint at it, he was talking about, okay, I hope they come back, blah, 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 then they just let him leave, play his music, and he leaves. But with AJ coming out at all, maybe think, okay, maybe not. And then when you hit him with the RKO and it's just on his foot, I'm like, son of a...
Yeah. But that was an unprecedented. I've never seen like the whole, like the night before the house show, he gets carried out. I mean, whoever thought of that, kudos. Good Lord.
Right, because you knew it was going to be... And just the way Orton sold it, I mean, not saying he's... my point is, like, for him to do all that takes not only effort and thinking, like a ton of patience as well. Mm-hmm. And he's one with not a lot of patience in reality. So I don't know if he would be able to do it just in that side of things.
Right.
Like, he's great at acting and being Randy Orton and being the character, but just doing all that's needed to sell it for that segment, let alone the night before,
exactly,
that he might not be down with, just because of all the effort extra that it would take beyond just selling an injury or selling an angle in general.
Right.
Extra effort to
Yeah.
fool all of us because it got most of me. I know I was tweeting, as he was walking down, I'm like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
It's like, oh dang, or sorry, or thank you, Orton, and stuff like that.
Right. We all got sucked in.
And then he does that. I'm like,
It was almost like it was awesome, but it was like, oh, you SOB, you got us all, man.
Viper striking, yeah.
Yeah, man.
But thanks, Conrad. Good show, guys. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being here as long as you have. It was unfortunate you were unable to make it, but I know you're busy. You got your own show as well going on, and like I said, everybody check that out here with my. They're trying to move this microphone, but find him Everything Pro Wrestling. Of course, Everything Pro Wrestling on Twitter at EPW Show for himself. So find him there. Speak with him. He's an awesome, smart individual as well. But before we say adieu, I want to, of course, let Conrad promote and share where they can find him, his stuff, his great content, and of course, find and hear all of his opinions, facts, and otherwise on his social medias as well, so that people know where they can find you.
You said Conrad. Are you talking?
No, I'm talking to you, Sean. I
Okay.
told him first, and then I was going to you.
Okay, my man. No, once again, on a serious and humble note, thank you so much for having me on your awesome show. It was a lot of fun as usual. I like to think that you're giving the people some seriously informative and good content. So thank you for having me. I consider it an honor. HubbardWrestlingWeekly.com, man. I'm just trying to do some things over there to bring some good vibes to the people, some good wrestling, mixed martial arts, and boxing information. I got everything from articles to podcasts that I do every week. Most recent podcast was a raging success by the grace of God with my good friend Steve, who we talked about AEW, man. It was really a really cool opportunity to talk about the newest, most talked about brand in the business right now. Go check me out, man. I'm on iTunes. I'm on Google Play. I'm always HubbardWrestlingWeekly.com. My Twitter is at Hub with two B's, HUBB_wrestling. Give me your opinions. Give me a shout out. I'll always hit everybody back. Checking my Google numbers, man. I got listeners in every state in the United States of America. It's such a blessing. I thank the good Lord for that, and I thank each and every one of you, and I thank you again, Steve, for having me on your show. God bless.
With you saying that, it kind of reminds me, I got to look at my numbers. It's been a while, and now with the new YouTube stuff and format on how to actually look at your analytics. The last time I did see, what I was most fascinated of in regards to my numbers is the different countries people were listening to my product. I went from a couple of numbers from England, from um, one of the stands, Kazakhstan.
Nice.
I got Iraq.
Oh, wow.
So maybe some service members or just in general people there. And then South America, because I was born in Peru, so it was kind of nice to see some South American there. So whoever's watching, if you are watching from South America or any other country, thank you for staying up or whatever time it is in your area. Of course, yo soy de Peru. So definitely appreciate the love. And don't be shy. You're always welcome to share your opinion on any of the videos. And I appreciate anybody that does watch. Um, you know, I would say in regards to YouTube, in regards to especially the wrestling community, us to be a family and supporting each other, but also trying to get our own goals personally as we should. Again, as I always say, we should always and have to think self first, but doing it in the right, respectful way.
Yes.
Plan is never to try to step on anybody else to get through. It's to just help others, but also help yourself and be able to get where you feel is where you want to be. Um, and for me, upgrading with the microphone, this thing right here,
Nice.
that's part one. The next one, getting a camera and doing videos that way. And then after that, I'm looking into a studio. So, I'm always thinking of what's best for business for myself and for my product that I want it to be informative, entertaining, aesthetically pleasing in regards to just how it is in regards to the format, but also entertaining as well. So definitely enjoy the great guests that I've had, especially Sean as well. But certainly going to be interesting to seeing how I have things of improvement moving forward. Also to those that are subscribers of mine, I will have a video. I think we'll be doing it tomorrow or Saturday, depending on what I'm doing. Will be a channel update, and will be about this sort of stuff and what I hope to do for my future. So definitely check that out if you care. But the next video I will be doing is a This Is Us review, and then Riverdale and other shows and my NFL podcast because Sean, I don't know if you know, but we got the 49ers and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
So that's going to be a Tuesday in a couple weeks.
absolutely. My condolences as far as the Packers, man. I know that didn't work out the way you wanted it to, but
When you don't show up, you're kind of hard to win. So that was unfortunate, but the 49ers earned it, and I wish them luck. And I'll be talking about that in my NFL podcast, Talking Packers with Steve. So either way, I thank everybody, and I thank Conrad here in the chat for chatting with us here this evening. And of course, I will be promoting this episode when it does upload to the channel. You know you're going to be finding it on the mega super long of awesomeness thread that I have on Twitter. That we have a bunch of people there, so I'll be promoting this as well there and other platforms. Of course, they're on Facebook. If people are on Facebook still, you can find the fan page for Steve's Wrestling Ramble. I also wish Sean, I wish Conrad, and I wish others good luck with their numbers for the Royal Rumble pool of mine. So, whatever number you got, hopefully your superstar wins. Again, that is for both the men's and the women's Royal Rumble matches. So, um, yeah, looking forward to seeing how however does whoever wins. And it's simple. I might as well just say this now because the next show will be after the Royal Rumble.
mhm.
With the review is it's simple. You enter. I already gave the numbers out, but the winner, beyond bragging rights for a full year, gets to at any point between now and the start of the 2021 Royal Rumble match, not the pay per view, but the match, um, gets to give suggestions for videos. And unless it's too out there, I will probably do them. Whatever you want me to talk about, blah blah blah. I mean, I do in general, but I'm just for this winner.
Right.
That you can give me a suggestion that you may want to hear my opinion on. It doesn't even have to be wrestling. It can be whatever you want to hear my thoughts on. It could be politics, could be sports, could be whatever. But either way, I will do that. Also, of course, open invite to any shows, any video. Um, and also, of course, if that person that's a winner has a YouTube channel, I will be promoting their YouTube channel on every single video I do from Monday, whatever I do Monday on from Royal Rumble until the next year. So if they have a channel, that link will be with my videos for an entire year.
Right.
Unfortunately, the past winner does not have a YouTube channel. So, but either way, that's another caveat there for the winner. But either way, I wish everybody good luck. You're welcome to follow me on the Twitter and of course at the Ramble underscore WWE at Army underscore Strong underscore 06 personal. And I look forward to talking to everybody about the Rumble as the show goes on Sunday night. Well, I'm part of Malik's live stream over there if it is still planning to be happening. Okay, hashtag thank you, Eli. Okay, cool. And without further ado, with Eli Manning, the GOAT of the Giants.
The greatest Giant quarterback ever, first ballot Hall of Famer. Check the numbers. Stop hating.
So we're saying Eli Manning is better than Sims.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
You're saying Eli Manning is better than Sims.
I'm a big Phil Simms fan, but there's Phil Simms cannot compare to Eli. Eli's career has been way better than Phil Simms, and I love Phil Simms. Phil Simms is my Phil Simms led the New York Giants to the first championship Super Bowl, and then in my first Super Bowl in my conscious lifetime in '91, he was hurt in Hostetler, but Eli's had 16 years, 117 to 117 is certainly not good, but over 50,000 yards, 350 touchdowns, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Come on.
Yeah, true. I mean, he does deserve more respect. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into the numbers in regards to the debate between Phil and Eli in regards to Giants quarterbacks. But either way, I mean, I think the writing's on the wall for Cam in Carolina. So the same there for for Eli. I was going to say Phil, but Eli in New York. Tom Brady, where's he going to go? And what's up with Tom? Rumors sharing that he might at least show interest in the LA Chargers.
Oh my goodness. Woohoo! The weapons they got out there, add Tom Brady to the mix. Wow.
I know people were also saying maybe he should go to the Titans. In regards to the whole Patriot connection there with their coach in Tennessee. I would love to see him in either Jacksonville or Tampa Bay personally, but maybe his better chances of continuing winning championships would be in the other places. And if that does happen, then you could say then the dynasty is over in New England. And maybe the Buffalo Bills. Hey, Conrad, Buffalo Bills might be taking over
Not bad.
the
Not
division
bad
there.
idea.
Circle the wagons. Circle the wagons.
Buffalo is a house. If you give them Tom Brady, I don't know, man. That might be the move.
Yeah, well, if he goes there, but even if he doesn't and he just leaves the division and leaves New England, I think they can take over that division even in that way.
True.
In general. So circle the wagons for the Buffalo Bills there. But again, before I keep rambling, I wish everybody do. And hopefully you're enjoying the weather in your area, because in my area we're going to be getting another 2 inches heading into the weekend of snow. And as of right now, it's 21 degrees. But all in all, hope you all are enjoying the weather in your area, especially if you are in Hawaii. I missed being there. And beyond that, above all else, as always, take care.